Have you ever felt like your dream was under attack? Not necessarily something terrible, but the doubts, the comments, the people looking at you side-eyed, and you might be dreaming of something beautiful for your life, and people somehow try to get in your head. And to be honest, sometimes it's not other people. Sometimes it's our own selves, our own inner voice that's telling us that maybe we're not good enough. It's doubting us. Maybe we might get embarrassed. We might embarrass ourselves. Maybe people were right that we can't do it. And lately, I've been thinking about how important it is to protect our dreams from that kinds of energy. So it's really important to protect your focus, to protect your vision, and to protect your inner world. Because if you let certain thoughts, certain negative thoughts live in your head rent free, they're going to start shaping what you believe is possible for your life. And I want to talk about that today. Being that the NBA championship just finished and we're in the FIFA World Cup, we got that going on. I want to talk about what athletes have taught me about mindset, about focus, about law of attraction, law of assumption, and why protecting your dream at all costs is one of the most enchanted things that you can do. Hey, beautiful, and welcome back to Enchant Your Life. I'm Kayla Moore, and I create a safe space for women to embrace creative and spiritual practices that builds a confident life. It's a life that feels more magical, more intentional, more alive, and self-empowered. Now, let me just say this before I go any further. I am not a sports fan, like not at all. My husband can be watching sports and I just walk on by like nothing is on the TV. But I did used to run track in high school, and I also did a little bit of cross country track in college. And in college, I was a cheerleader for our basketball team. And what I learned about being into sports is that it's not all about talent. There's a lot of mindset stuff going on there that can teach you lessons that you can use throughout your entire life. I learned lessons about mindset, focus, energy. And when the pressure is really on, you have to still believe in yourself to keep going. As a runner, I know how it feels to have your body exhausted and tired, and your mind is trying to convince you and talk you into not finishing strong. And as a cheerleader, our jobs were to keep the athletes flying high, to keep the energy strong, and to remind them that they can do this. So today I'm going to give you 5 ideas that will help you to protect your dream. And the first one is to know that people will try to project their limits onto your dream. So lately I've been thinking about Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks. Go Knicks! And what he's been through. He's had a lot of comments from people all over the place telling him that he's too small, he is not built to lead a team to win the NBA championships. Something like that was said about him in one way or another from a bunch of different people. And we all know what that feels like. At some point in our lives, someone has said something to us that made us feel like too small, not necessarily physically too small, but that we're too small for this dream, or this dream was too big for us. Maybe it's because of our background, our culture, our size, our education, our bank account. Whatever the case is, people are always going to judge us. And some people have opinions that, they don't think we can accomplish what we have set out to accomplish. They take the limits that they've accepted for themselves and they try to project it onto you. And if you're not careful, you can take on those limiting thoughts and start seeing through the eyes of someone else's fear. And that's why I'm so passionate about law of assumption. I learned a lot about law of assumption from the teacher Neville Goddard. And law of assumption asks a really important question. Who are you assuming yourself to be? What are you assuming about yourself? What are you assuming is available to you? What are you assuming is possible for your life? What are you assuming that you're worthy of? Because if your dominant assumptions are, I'm too late, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I always mess up, I never get what I want, things like this don't happen for people like me, those assumptions are shaping how you show up. They're shaping what you notice, what you expect. They're shaping your actions. And ultimately, they're shaping the manifestations that appear in your life. But what if you started assuming something else? What if you started assuming that I am good enough? My dreams are valid. I can do this. The universe has my back. I'm not too late. I'm not too much. And wonderful things can happen for me. Do you see the difference in how that feels? Now that's spiritual self-leadership. And that's one of the big ways to enchant your life. An enchanted life is not built by circumstances and situations. An enchanted life is built by what you believe. It's built by what you repeatedly believe, expect, and affirm in your spirit, in your soul. The second point I want to make is that distraction is part of the game, but you still have to take the shot. One of the things I found fascinating about basketball is at the free throw line. When an athlete, he's been practicing that shot so many times, and when he gets to that free throw line in a game, the fans of the opposing team are behind that basket, yelling, trying to distract the athlete from making the shot. And this reminds me of life in general. Like when we have a goal, when we have something to focus on, there are distractions coming at us left, right, and center, and all around. There's so many distractions, like people's opinions, your family's opinions about what you're doing, social media, comparing yourself to other people, fears, just being afraid of success or being afraid of failure. There are so many things that can get in our heads and take us off our game. All of that is like all that noise and all that distraction at the free throw line. You can't let people get in your head and disrupt your nervous system and mess up your focus. And if you're not careful, you can let them make you second guess what you know is for you. And this is where I think focus becomes a spiritual practice. It's not about focusing and checking things off that list to get closer to your goal. No, it's about focusing to protect your dream that was put in your heart by God. Focus and say to yourself, I know what I'm here for. I know what I'm trying to build. I believe in what I'm doing. And just try your best not to let anything else get into your psyche. Not everybody deserves access to your world, plain and simple. Not everyone's opinion deserves your time to contemplate what they think. Not every fear deserves your attention. Sometimes the most self-loving thing you can say to yourself is, no, you're not getting in my head today. And I feel so strongly about this because as a runner, I know what it feels like to have your body just be tired, your lungs burning, your legs just feeling like they're turned into jello or something. And I know how it feels when your mind is telling you, well, this is not your race. The finish line is so far away and it seems to be just getting further and further. And this is the time where you have to tell yourself to be quiet, okay? And let the positive affirmations start to come and flow back into your mind and your heart and your spirit. This is the way I have finished my races very strongly. I was aware that in previous races how my thoughts would get in the way, and I was prepared. So during future races, When the thoughts came and my body was tired, I told myself, I know you can do this. Pace yourself. When you get closer, finish strong. You can do this. A lot of this is all mental. Your body is stronger than you think. You are stronger than you think. And this is just like life and your dreams. Okay, when you start to feel like you're taking a dip in energy, like the goal of your dream seems to be far away, just out of reach, this is when you have to let go of those negative thoughts, start to relax, block out the noise, remember the assignment, and take the shot anyway. Do the best that you can. The third point that I want to make is that your energy is more important than you think. One of the things that cheerleading taught me is that energy is contagious. Our job was to keep the atmosphere energized for our players and keep the players encouraged. Keep the crowd alive, lift the energy of the room. And I think sometimes we underestimate how much atmosphere matters in our lives. The atmosphere in your mind, the atmosphere in your home, the atmosphere around your dreams. What you listen to matters. Who you let speak over your life matters. What you think matters. What you listen to, what you say, what you repeat to yourself. All of that inner talk, all of it is really important to creating the atmosphere of your own minds and your own dreams. This is where law of attraction comes in, because what you think about, what you focus on, it just becomes bigger and bigger in your life. Whatever you believe, whether it's good or bad, is going to be true for you. So when you believe that you're defeated and you just have negative thoughts, that's what you're going to experience. And when you believe that you can do it, you keep your vibes high, you stay positive as much as possible. Start believing in yourself and in your dream. That's what's going to manifest for you. Don't rehearse defeat. Rehearse winning. And opportunities will open up for you. When your dominant thoughts are those of positivity, of you winning, that's what's going to happen. As Abraham has said, there is no happy ending to an unhappy journey. So start to intentionally cultivate a positive atmosphere. Start to practice gratitude. Start to practice peace. Start to practice speaking positivity over your dreams. Start speaking positivity over your life. Start noticing beauty, opportunity, and possibility in your own life and in the lives of others. Your whole world will begin to shift, not necessarily overnight, but little by little. You'll start to see more opportunities. You'll start to feel like that woman who can hold more peace, more joy, more confidence, and that changes everything. My fourth point is that you can't let the naysayers live in your brain. And this is a big one, because the problem isn't that people are doubting you. The problem is that you're letting their doubts get into your system. I think my dog Milo wants to join us in this conversation. Come on, Milo, it's okay. Yes, baby. So, like I was saying, you might let one person's comment sit on your mind for like 3 days or more. You might let one person's disbelief become your inner dialogue. You let one rejection convince you that your dream is all wrong. I've been there. That's a big one, especially when it comes from someone that you really look up to. You let one season of delay make you feel like it's never going to happen. And I say all of that with so much compassion, because like I said, I've been there and I've had to work through every single one of those things. I know what it feels like to care too much about what people think and to let it replay in your mind and to lose sleep over it and to doubt yourself and doubt that dream that God put in your heart as if they know any better. I had to work through that and learn how to block it all out, because they do not understand our journey. They don't know what our purpose is. And we just need to learn to ignore them. You just have to decide that your inner world is sacred to you. And not everyone's opinions get to matter in your life. Some people are so disconnected from their own dreams that your dreams actually irritate them. And that has nothing to do with you. So protect your dream anyway. Protect your softness, protect your courage, protect that part of you that knows that your dream is possible. And don't let cynicism harden you. There was a point where I started to lose myself and become a little hardened, but the people in my life has helped me to remember who I am. Because if you let cynicism harden you, you not only lose your dream, you lose your enchantment. And I really believe that enchanting your life is about not letting the world make you feel numb. Refuse to let disappointment turn into permanent unbelief. Refuse to let other people's fear become your future. Refuse to become so guarded that you don't let yourself hope and dream. And the fifth thing I want to say is that champions keep showing up before evidence arrives. And this might be one of the biggest lessons of them all, because athletes show up before the trophy. They practice and practice and practice before the applause. They show up before the result is here in physical form. And that's such a beautiful picture of manifestation, because manifestation is staying in relationship with the unseen. It's not just about making a vision board and hoping for the best. It's about showing up again and again and making yourself available for something greater. It's saying, I may not see it yet, but I know it's going to happen. It's saying, I may not see the proof, but I am still becoming that woman who can hold it. And it's saying, I may not know how it's going to happen, but I'm not going to collapse my dream just because I can't see the whole staircase. I'm going to take one step at a time. That is faith. That is self-leadership. That is enchantment. Because as I've said many times, enchanting your life is not about life being perfect. It's about being able to participate in your life with belief, with hope, with courage, with resilience, and with reverence for what your soul keeps pulling you towards. There were moments in my life where things didn't unfold the way I expected, or it took longer than I expected, and things like that. But one thing that all this has taught me is that to not quit in the middle of it. Don't quit in the becoming, because what you want will arrive when you are ready and when the other people involved are ready. It will happen in divine timing. Your dream is not random. If it's something pulling at you, tugging at your spirit, you're meant to pursue it and continue to evolve and grow with that dream. If this conversation resonated with you and you want to go deeper, I have a community called Enchant Your Life Circle. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. We go deeper into all these topics of spirituality, manifestation, and ways to empower yourself and live a magical life. So I'll leave that link in the description below. Also, I want to invite you to a special Zoom gathering that I'll be having soon, and I will put the link in the description below for that as well. In that special Zoom gathering, we're going to be talking about changing the way you look at things, changing your perspective to change everything in your life and manifest your heart's desires. So I'll put that information and that registration link in the description below as well. If you like this video, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share with a friend. And remember that that dream was put in your heart for a reason. So protect it at all costs. And until next time, stay enchanted. Love ya. Bye.